Everybody, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready for some quality, high grade A, pure all beef bitchin' and moaning. I'm Scott, and alongside me, as always, is Mr. Brandon K. And thank you for joining us today on What Grinds My Gears on Tales from the Film Set and Streampunk Sports and wherever you guys are watching. We got a lot of stuff right now that we're going to be talking about tonight that's frankly just irking us, disappointing us, pissing us off, or just basically general things of conversation. But before we get into that, and I know that you've got some of your own, and we'll let you roll with this. How you doing, sir?
I am doing quite well. Yeah, I am locked and loaded on a topic in particular that we will delve into. But other than this, yeah, usually I'm on all the sports side of this company, but I do have passion and emotions and loves for things outside of sports just the same. So I am happy to be here and to be talking about all that kind of stuff.
And by and large, what would that possibly be that's bothering you ever so?
Well, Well, it just so happens to be that it ties into sports and NBA in particular this year with the NBA All Star festivities
Mm-hmm.
happening in the great, good old blue collar American rockin' city of Cleveland, Ohio. Which, no shame to Cleveland, but you know, they do have a place in their museum where they make some interesting choices, and that would be
Okay.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, they had the game before last night. They were doing the Sixers and the Bucks with our colleague Obi, who was our resident Sixers fan.
Mm-hmm.
And during that, they had the TNT crew with Shaq and Kenny and Charles and all of them from the actual the Hall of Fame in their museum. In that,
Mm-hmm.
you guys don't know, it's that huge glass pyramid building, and it's a beautiful building. So they were in there and they were showing all kinds of stuff, and a lot of what they were talking about and the artists they were talking about and some of the memorabilia they were showing weren't even your traditional kind of rock and roll artists. And
Okay.
this has been a topic that has really ground my gears to the nub for years and years and years. And we now have a great avenue to talk about it.
All right. Is it basically just in general the fact that it's no longer rock and roll, or is it just one of those things
It's
that it's more of a music hall of fame kind of thing?
it is more of a music hall of fame, but I don't have a problem that it's a music hall of fame. It's the fact that you're still disregarding the actual true essence and really the artists that should be in there. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, like Biggie, Tupac, Public Enemy, Run DMC.
Mm.
So hip hop artists are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I don't have a problem with. It's the fact that they are in and they are voted in fairly quickly because those bands haven't been around as long as a lot of these other bands,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that all these other bands aren't even included, and they're really, to be quite honest, disrespected.
You're talking about
And
what basically it's the nominees for this year.
any year you can go any
Mm-hmm.
year. I just in general I had typed in to Google just like the biggest snubs and who has
Mm-hmm.
been left out so far. This isn't including like a band like Kiss or Rush that were eligible for like 20-25 years and then finally got in, which is a crime in itself. But there, I went on a list. This is Cleveland.com. This
That's
is the
by the way, that's
city
the
of
list for this year.
Cleveland.
While we're at it, so.
Yep, this is the city of Cleveland with their website.
Mm-hmm.
100 biggest Hall of Fame snubs of all time. So we're going to start coming in at 97
Mm-hmm.
for our first example. One, you might have heard of him. You might have listened to him. One, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go over the first thing that's wrong with that. You're telling me that there are 96 more artists more deserving than Ozzy to be in the Hall of Fame? That's the first thing.
Fair.
Second of all, you have him as a member of Black Sabbath voted in.
Mm-hmm.
Why are
But
you
not
not having him
Logan.
individual?
Mm-hmm.
That logic makes no sense to me. And the solo work and the Sabbath work are equally deserving. Okay,
Well,
so that's
most
another
people
thing.
actually don't realize. I think what Crazy Train was individual. That wasn't Black Sabbath, right?
No, that was the
Yeah.
first solo stuff. That was when
Yeah.
he got Randy Rhoads
Mm-hmm.
and
Those
Rudy
Blizzard of
Sarzo
Oz
from
album.
Quiet Riot. Yep,
He's
that
not in the
was
Hall of Fame right now.
not
Ozzy?
solo. Not by himself. He has been eligible since 2006.
Do they have a rule in place that says they can't actually do that though? They can only, like you can't have like say John Fogerty and CCR.
No, because they have guys like Paul McCartney who was in with the Beatles, and then with him, and then maybe even with Wings. So he might even be in like 3 times. I think same thing with like Stevie Nicks being solo, and then with like Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac was just not the same after they let Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah, I don't understand
They're like
why
advertising like Neil Finn and everything. I'm like, no, it's like Neil Finn in Fleetwood Mac. It's like who,
I saw that you might have seen this picture because I think it's floated around Facebook. It was a picture of Fleetwood Mac, of a recent picture, not too recent, and it was like, this is what the Always Sunny in Philadelphia crew looks like in 45 years.
Really, yeah.
And it was so spot on, and it was hilarious. But yeah, back to the Ozzy thing though, like, that makes no sense having him not in with Sabbath in. So that's just the one example of Ozzy.
And it's not like Ozzy's not even relevant too. I mean, he's still pretty mainstream. I mean, he's not like Snoop level, like old to like mainstream, but he's still pretty relevant anyway. I mean, MTV's got him on all the time.
And a couple of years ago, what was it? Post Malone was putting out some music with him and all of his, his MTV, this sitcom, well, not sitcom, but his reality TV show. And if you don't know, on the Travel Channel, and they started this during quarantine with Jack and Sharon. The Osbournes Want to Believe, and Jack, who is a big into all this, demonology and ghost hunting, paranormal stuff. He shows them all these video clips of different stuff, and to see whether they actually believe it or not, or think it's all bullshit. And it really is one of the most entertaining reality TV shows I've seen in a while.
Well, didn't he have something where he like going on the road with his son, with Jack?
That was before COVID.
Okay.
So he's always been doing things. I mean, he's Ozzy fucking Osbourne. How is he not in?
Yeah.
So that's one example.
And that's actually true rock and roll too.
Really. But now, so this is according to this Cleveland.com article. So he's number 97. Okay, whatever. Now coming in at 95. Now remember, he's eligible since 2006. So that's what, 15, 16 years now? 16? Yeah.
Yeah, about 16, 17, actually, 2000. Oh, these are 2006, not 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So 95. I can't even believe I'm saying this. Daft Punk.
Really?
Like, well, what? And they've only been eligible since 2020. So according to this article, Daft Punk is more deserving to be in the Hall than Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. Well, again, I think probably what hurts it a little bit here is the fact that Ozzy's already in there, with Black Sabbath. And I think I understand your point about the fact that you have...
No, that probably plays into it.
But yeah, it's still 97 is pretty damn high. 95 for Daft Punk, I could see it around that level, to be honest. Yeah.
Please. They would... Oof. Okay, and then just a couple, not even to get too far into these bands, but Bad Company, Tool. Coming in
in there, perhaps.
Coming in at 91, Nas.
Who's that? Not really. Okay.
Nas, the rapper. Yeah, okay. Just above him, Motley Crue.
Okay.
So. I mean, come on. And I don't even want to hear arguments about like the heavier side of the music.
People.
Ooh.
What was that line from Brian Tracy's that radio is like chewing gum for the masses? That's okay. I don't mind that gum. So, but okay. So basically, in this case, Chaddington, if it's not rock music, what would you prefer? No wrong answer. I'm just actually kind of curious, basically, what your take is. In my case, personally, it's European power metal. I got literally 1,200 songs that I pulled down from YouTube, since I pay for YouTube, that actually are on here from one single playlist. But in your case, I'm curious to find out what you like. Again, no wrong answer, no disrespect. I'm just really curious. So,
So yeah, okay.
Unless he says polka, then I may have a problem.
So coming in just ahead of Nas, Motley Crue. And I was going to say, I don't even want to hear the arguments for like they're too heavy, because you have Sabbath, Metallica, you have Guns N' Roses, you have these heavier bands in. So that logic throw out the window. Okay. So coming in, Dolly Parton.
She's nominated this year though. So.
Yes, she's deserving, but come on, there's a Country Music Hall of Fame. Just
Yeah, bluegrass, country, pop, jazz. I was gonna say, well, the International Blues Competition is in May. My father-in-law's band actually is representing New Jersey. I know New Jersey for a blues band isn't much, but we take what we can get up here. Is actually representing New Jersey again for the International Blues Competition down in Memphis in May. So shout out to Shade Tree Mechanics on that. Was down there a couple of years ago, but okay, I give it credit. You know, a little classical, a little more upscale in this particular case. Bizet's Carmen, perhaps, although they usually only play the one little bit from there. Okay, respect. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to judge. I'm just kind of curious because it takes many kinds to make a world, as the saying goes. So, all right, respect.
Yeah, to each their own.
So, but again, back to your point about Dolly Parton, I'm surprised it took this long.
Like, there's a country music, and the Country Music Hall of Fame is pretty prominent.
Yeah.
So, there's no problem. And then in a minute, I'll get to Obi actually had an idea last night on the Bucks Sixers stream. We were talking about it a little bit that I actually think is a fantastic idea. And is one of the best ideas I've heard relating to this topic in a while. But just back to some of these artists that are out at 80, Iggy Pop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Even the first thing in why he's dubbed Godfather of Punk. If you have the Ramones in, how are you not going to have Iggy Pop in? So that makes no sense.
Well, Iggy Pop hasn't been around that long, though. I mean, not like Dolly Parton.
Though. Iggy Pop's been eligible since 2003 because remember he was with the Stooges before.
That's true.
So he was like that's late 60s, early 70s, maybe early 70s, mid 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So just coming in. Man, like Rick James, Pat Benatar. I mean,
well, Pat Benatar surprises me a little bit too. But what do you have in like the top 25? About
I can go. I'll go top.
In case you're wondering, he's going over the list of the biggest snubs according to a website. I think in Cleveland for like the big.
This is Cleveland.com. This is Cleveland.com. You could just type Cleveland.com 100 biggest rock Hall of Fame snubs, and the first article it's by a Troy L. Smith, who is now Public Enemy number 1. But let's scroll to the 25. Okay.
Iggy Pop's. Okay,
all right,
yeah.
25, Dick Dale.
Okay.
Got to be honest, never heard of him. Okay.
I don't know either.
And he's been eligible for 40 years. Never heard of him. Okay.
So it might be one of those ones that, he's like, oh, yeah, he did that song. One of those doo-woppy type songs.
Maybe. Okay. Coming in 24, the Marvelettes.
Okay.
Again, never heard of them. Yes, I'm young, but like I know a lot of old music, but even that, no idea. Okay.
Yeah, well, Dick Dale will be posthumous too because he died in 2019. He did some surfing stuff.
All right, number 23 now. The New York Dolls.
Okay.
Which New York glam rock, like before, like mid 70s, before all the hair metal scene, borderline, but I can I'd vote for them. Okay. 22, Diana Ross.
Okay. Chaddington, you recognize Diana Ross. I know you do. But yeah, Dick Dale, you mentioned. What was the other name you mentioned right after that?
After Dick Dale was the Marvelettes.
Marvelettes, okay. I'm dating myself a little bit. My father probably would recognize that name too.
Yeah, just on names, I know it's like 50s, 60s, no way with that.
I'm just wondering if it's one of those things where they did some song, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I know that song.
Or something that's been like redone.
Yeah.
That
surfer guitar song. I did see something about that.
That song, that.
Okay, yeah, but Marvelette goes and say, please, Mr. Postman. Please, Mr. Postman. I remember that. Okay.
Okay. All right. So yeah, those are all okay.
Yeah. Twist and Postman, Beach.
22, Diana Ross.
Yeah. Too hurt to cry, too much in love to say goodbye. Okay. I'll keep holding on. Okay. There's a lot of songs in here from Marvelettes I recognize now. So, because my father was raised on 50s and 60s music, so he raised me on that here in the New York area. 101.1 CBS FM before they started playing songs from like 2007. The oldies station started playing like, is Iggy Pop and hell, Kesha.
Those are oldies now,
dude. Kesha, I don't really say is an oldie song, but I mean they absolutely have Gwen Stefani. Like, I'm not just talking like Don't Speak. I'm talking the stuff she did like later. like Hollaback Girl, I think, is now on CBS FM.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, that was like 2006.
I know. I'm waiting for the days where like Nickelback will be classic rock.
Dude, Nickelback is like 20 years old.
Hey, they're eligible to be in the Hall of Fame.
This is how you remind me. I think it's got to be, what, 99 or something like that? Matchbox 20 is the 90s, too.
Yeah. Matchbox, Rob Thomas. Oh, yeah.
Remind me. Well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, Nickelback is eligible and should be in. Okay.
Well, yeah, so Nickelback, yes. I will defend Nickelback and basically take every stone that's thrown at me if I process that.
Yes, if you are familiar with me and you've been watching us for a while, like Nickelback is one of these hills that I will die on and defend. And I just the hate for him is so ridiculously unwarranted. It's a crime.
Now, is Rebecca Black on that list? If you remember that one, since we're on basically hated in this case, and Rebecca
Black I would have to scroll. I would have to scroll through all the middle numbers. Probably not.
Well, she was the one-hit wonder that had that song Friday.
Yeah,
the internet just looked.
No. Friday with that nasally Squidward ass voice.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. And of course, they changed that on the internet and basically started like, look at this graph. It's like an actual graph.
And it's just a terrible auto tune to fix the lyric. And it just, it's cringe. Yeah. It just makes you cringe. Okay.
Obi's making me feel old here. We're further away from 1980. It's 30 years, 1950, 40 years ago. Yeah, the 80s are old. Yeah, but the 2000s, the aughts now are considered oldies.
Aughts.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 20 years since Tino Martinez left the Yankees. Had that conversation yesterday.
That's a while.
Yeah.
All right. So coming in at 22 now, Diana Ross. I think I said her.
Oh, yeah. Well, Diana Ross, obviously, that she's not in there? Wow.
But if you're going to go with kind of like that whole soul, like the Aretha Franklin kind of that sort of it, I'm totally cool with that too.
Dude, I mean, I just figured in general, just for her impact, even if not for anything she did, just run with me for a sec. Even something that she didn't do. I mean, the impact that she had generationally speaking. Wow.
Yeah, her, I'm all for that. All right, so coming in right above her, 21, Kate Bush.
Okay.
Maybe if I vaguely rings a bell, maybe. I'm
really curious, like the top 10 here, I got to tell you.
Okay, well, I'm coming in at 20 now is Outkast.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I believe the Supremes are in the Hall of Fame.
Supremes, I believe they are. And again, those artists, I'm all for it because that was the early rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
All of those 50s singing groups definitely led.
Supremes were brought in 1988, so right at the very beginning. I think Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was.
I think they're 80 to
It was mid 80s, I thought.
Yeah. So coming in at 19 is Chic.
Chic, okay.
Yeah, okay. Like
80s, I believe.
Not familiar. Okay,
so
18.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Eric B. and Rakim. Never heard of them.
Yeah, damn kids in their hula hoops, Pac-Man video games, Dan Fogelberg.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, Diana Ross is Diana Ross probably falls in the same category as Ozzy, where you're known for being part of the group, but not part of the individual artist. Right. But you mentioned that with Paul McCartney. That Paul McCartney's in individually and with the Beatles and possibly even with Wings.
I'm sure Lennon is. I think Lennon as well. Because I feel like I saw Yoko Ono and the kids, like in the last maybe 10 or 12 years. Maybe I could be thinking something else. Or maybe
again, I wonder if it would be posthumous. I mean, if John Lennon didn't get in after he got shot, I mean, he got killed before the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But
yeah, it was 1980.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming in at now 17 is George Michael.
Really?
I don't have a problem with that.
George Michael's not in?
No, he's not in. But I'm saying if he were to be voted, I would not have a problem with him.
Yeah, I was going to say that surprises me also. Wow.
Yeah. All right. So now, coming in at 16, Motorhead.
Right. Again, I mean, I got to wonder how much. I mean, let me ask you this: who votes for these?
Idiots. That's who votes. No, it's
All right,
honestly,
let me clarify
no,
that.
no, no. So
Who on a professional level
this is
votes for this?
why this is why this is such a problem. It's because the Hall of Fame has a committee
Mm-hmm.
that votes, and I have to look it up. It's made up of, I don't know, a dozen, 15, 18 guys, 20 guys, or 21, whatever, an odd number, and they vote, and
Mm-hmm.
every year there's a certain list of artists that become nominated, and to become nominated you have to wait at least 25 years after the release of your first studio album.
Is that what the rules are? Okay.
And I know that's for a fact. I know that's like the one hard, box that they have to check off.
Wait, you said 25 years?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to expand this just for a second here. You can see this right here. This is the current induction list or the nomination list for this year. The fact that Eminem is on this list means he's been around for 25 years?
Yeah. Well, think about it now. It's 2022, so that means in
1997. Yeah,
7. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh my God.
That's why Nickelback. That's why they're eligible. They
Sure.
mid-90s.
Yeah. The fact that Carly Simon's not on here surprises me a little. Lionel Richie probably with the Commodores, though, I'd imagine.
No, actually, he was number 100, and they had Lionel Richie and the Commodores. So I think neither of them are in.
Wow. Pat Benatar, Kate Bush, you mentioned those two.
Yes.
They're nominated this year. You talked about those already, though. Tribe Called Quest. I guess it's been around for 25 years there, too. They've been around for a while. Rage Against the Machine surprises me that they haven't been nominated, but they might be new to it anyway. Eurythmics. I guess so. Sweet dreams you made of you. Yes, I'm a terrible singer, and I accept that. So,
I mean, and like Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, what are we doing? How is Priest not in?
Well, again, it depends on basically who votes for these things. So, all four Beatles. But let's see.
You want to know who's number 13 on this list?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for basically the ones. The higher this goes, the more shocking it's probably going to get.
Oh, yeah, Mariah Carey.
She's been around 30 years, I guess. Right?
Yeah, it's. Yeah. Okay, so 11, right, is Iron Maiden.
Okay.
10, The Replacements.
What did they do? I'm gonna know when I hear it.
They're one of those they're kind of like REM. Oh, okay, I know. Yeah. They're one of those like softer punk alternative bands.
Let's see. Singles. Let's see what I'm going to recognize them. Sure. Bastards of Young. Okay. Cruella de Vil. I'll Be You. Okay. I do recognize some of them here. Can't hardly wait. Okay. So.
All right.
Interesting. All right.
And number 8, Brian Eno.
Brian Eno.
Who's done I think he's done like work with a whole bunch of other people.
It could be one of those things where they work behind like recording artists or even sound guys.
Or one of these songwriter kind of guys.
Mm-hmm.
So he's at number 8. Number 7 is the Smiths.
Okay.
Now coming in at 6 is Judas Priest.
You mentioned Judas Priest already.
Who've been eligible since 2000. As harsh as I am on the Hall of Fame, I actually think they will get voted in this year.
But 22 years is a long time. I mean, you think about it from the standpoint of Major League Baseball, where you have the 10-year window on there, and slowly you build up, and then by year 10, you're either on or out. But 22 years, I mean, every year you get your hopes up, and every year you get your hopes, your hopes dashed. No, he is not my father. I just want to clarify that. I'm not his son. And it's not even the other way around either.
No, believe it or not.
No. I guess that makes me look a little bit older than I was aiming for on this, but c'est la vie.
I know. I have no wrinkles.
But yeah, pretty soon I'm going to start going out with girls.
Okay.
Actually, I guess I'm old enough to be your father, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. Could be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, number 5, Graham Parsons, who I think is kind of in that same realm. of kind of songwriter
Hmm.
major done with all these other artists, stuff like that. Who's been eligible since '93,
Okay.
so a very long time. Number 4, Joy Division / New Order.
Okay.
Number 3, MC5.
Hmm. So they're nominated this year though, so they're on that list.
Oh, they are on that list, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2, Sonic Youth, who I think is
Okay.
on this year.
Put that back. I should have just left it up in the first place. Didn't think of that. There we go. Sonic Youth is not. MC5 is though.
No, that's all right. Okay, now coming in at number 1, John Coltrane.
Really?
Yeah, who has been
Okay.
eligible since 1982, which means I think that's the inaugural year of the Hall of Fame.
For some reason, I thought the Hall of Fame was. Wow.
I would imagine.
Hmm.
Because they wouldn't
Actually,
have an
it wasn't.
eligibility date, before the institution was created.
And talking about
think.
Judas, 1983 was a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
There you go. Okay, so there you go. So they could have been boom right off the back. Now, to get to Obi's point, he was saying that there should just be a music Hall of Fame where you have the wings for all the genres of music. And, you could argue about how, subgenre you want to get and just have whatever 5, 8, 10 artists every year inducted that way. So to have all the artists in their respective Hall of Fames, which, logically there's nothing wrong with that's how it should be, I think. So if you were going to do, let's say, rock and roll, if you want to do the first ones like an Elvis or a line, Little Richard or Chuck Berry or some of those guys, and then you want to do the year with Aretha and the Supremes and the Commodores and those, and then you get into the 70s with Zeppelin and Stones and the Beatles, and you work Pink Floyd, and you work your way that way. But obviously that's so much to such a hypothetical, but it's just this has been going on for years, and just the disrespect for really a lot of the OG artists that really are still true to rock and roll, and just kind of the heavier artists outside of a Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Sabbath that happen to get in. It's really blood boiling.
I think the problem is actually when you have a music Hall of Fame grand across the board like that, it will cut away from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame. They're not going to want to give up.
But they're cutting away from it anyway by doing this.
Oh, I know. But the point is, if you have one Hall of Fame to rule them all, so to speak, it may take away and soften what some of the other ones want, and they don't want to give up their power that they've got in their own individual unique field. In the process, you do get people that fall off the wagon, or not fall off the wagon, but fall off the list rather, and don't end up getting in when they should have. Like obviously, you're talking about the list that you've got here and why these people should be on. But I think if you tried to create a across the board music Hall of Fame, then I don't think it's going to fix the problem, because I think at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to have somebody somewhere getting left off of some list. How many people do you start opening up? How many groups do you let in every year? Do you limit it only to the U.S. artists? Do you start building into something in Europe? I mean, here's a question. When does J-pop and K-pop go into this?
Well, obviously 25 years after BTS releases Dynamite.
Well, I was going to say,
whatever.
When can easily be replaced with Will? Will they? And they probably will. Now listen, I can get into J-pop. I can't get into K-pop at all. So
no, I would even for them, I feel like that would be surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not a discredit or a judging or knocking on those genres. It's how the hall looks at what really the true genre is, and kind of muddying up what the parameters of the rock genre are. And that's my problem.
Fair. I think, like I said, in the end of the day, it is still a business. So having BTS in there down the line in 35, 40, whenever BTS is 25 years, I think would be a smart business move. A lot of people will be pissed about it, but at the end of the day, money talks. And bringing in BTS getting in there suddenly brings in a lot of Korean money. and suddenly gives an international flavor to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that they haven't had for probably since ever. So you bring in something like that. There's
Yeah, I
J-pop.
mean, other than the British artists that are in there, you don't really have international artists.
And there's basically they refer to what they call the BRIC countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, Korea, and that's where the big bank really is. So you get the Korean artists who are starting to break out over here pretty well, better than the Chinese artists, better than the Japanese artists. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is probably looking at that and thinking we can tap into a market we haven't yet, and there's copious amounts of money there.
Then you know what? If they're gonna do this, then the Rock and Roll Hall should have their own wings. Set it up, do it, have them do it that way. But I mean it's not a perfect solution, but I can't think of anything that can fix it. So
their first album was 2014 called Dark and Wild.
So in 2030, you said 2014.
2014. So it's been 8 years now.
So in 2039, BTS going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Predicting it now. BTS will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, they will be at this rate.
Actually, another fun fact that I found out: Cleveland is actually the most stressed out city in the United States.
Yeah, because they're all wondering why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is putting these artists in before.
Damn it! Well, that and also the stress of having to deal with basically, are we the Indians? No, we're the Guardians. They have to deal with the perpetual disappointment that is the Browns. And it shocked me because I looked it up one day and I'm thinking to myself, okay, New York City's got to be number one on this list of the most stressed out city in the country. No, not even like top 10. Cleveland is the most stressed out city in the United States across the multiple polls. And I'm like, how? It's fucking Cleveland.
You know what it is? And I've been to Cleveland. I was saying this to OBS tonight. When I was a kid in our day camp, I was like 13. It was a travel year. So each day you went on a different trip. And every week there was an overnight trip, whether it be one night, 2 nights, or 3 nights. And the last week was a 3-night trip out to Cleveland. We went to the Hall of Fame, the big amusement park they have out there, Cedar Point, which is a great amusement park, and whatever other little stuff. And it's a shame because the Hall of Fame is a beautiful building. They have amazing exhibits, amazing pieces of memorabilia. But then you get to this kind of political, popularity contest side of it. Yeah. And it really just puts a terrible taste in my mouth.
But I don't know. I mean, like I said, it just kind of surprised me a little bit. But so like I said, it just, I didn't expect that in this case that they would be that stressed. So, but dun 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 dun. Boom.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Welcome to the fold, Mr. JT McGuire. How you doing, man?
Welcome.
Good. How are you, gentlemen?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I know you're working, stuck in traffic too. So if you want to gripe about that, please be my guest.
You know, a little better now. Really grinds my gears. In the immortal words of Dante Hicks, I wasn't even supposed to be there today.
Hey, it could have been.
I woke up at 2 a.m. to be there for a 4 a.m. shift that should have ended at 12. I didn't leave till 4, and then I got to experience Manhattan traffic.
On a Friday, too, I know.
On a Friday.
That's like 3 days in one.
Yeah.
Well, it took literally 2 hours to move 3 blocks. So,
dare I ask where you're trying to go from to and from for the 3 blocks?
I was at 47th on 11th, and I was trying to make it to the Lincoln Tunnel.
Okay, so you're trying to head down on the left. So you're heading down the West Side Highway then?
Yes, and that close to it. I wasn't on the highway there. I was on 11th Street. But you go to 11th Street, you make it through the Lincoln Tunnel to go back towards South Jersey. I made it 3 blocks because for whatever reason, they didn't decide to have traffic cops there to actually move traffic until 2 hours in.
Yeah, I know. I feel your pain. I'm actually kind of surprised you drove that.
Because I thought I was going to leave at 12, and at 12 it was a nice
That's a
smooth trip.
totally
out
different
of there.
conversation. Yeah. Yeah. I will always wonder if it would have been better to go up to GW and back around. But
Yeah, I was in the city this morning, probably like between 10 and 11, around Columbus Circle for a doctor's appointment, and that coming in West Side Highway, GW Bridge was at that time was pretty easy.
and
I feel bad for you guys.
And here's the really cool thing. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but the Queensboro Bridge, otherwise known as the Ed Koch Bridge, has a construction project that has just started. Did you guys hear about this one?
I'm convinced that all this road construction is a conspiracy. They don't do anything. It never ends.
It tried to push people to mass transit, but what they've decided, what they're doing is they're doing maintenance on the upper level, where they're either shutting down one lane in the upper level during rush hour, or in many cases shutting down the upper level of the Queensboro entirely and pushing everything to the lower end. This construction project is scheduled to be a 2-year project. Now, if history is any indication on any kind of project when it comes to construction work, it is whatever they have estimated times
10.
2 to 3, 4 maybe.
Be like Manhattan. Never feel. Always keep working on yourself, no matter how inconvenient it is to everyone else.
Dude, it's weird because I've been taking that for a couple of years now, and all of a sudden now you can see where they kind of just change things around. So they've got like one lane on each direction, and they got it all cordoned off. It's a little weird seeing this as my new Queens Brooklyn future, but it's supposed to be tentatively a 2-year project. Having said that, the project that's currently being done on the Lincoln Tunnel right now, which is a 2-year project, started in 2017. So let's look at 2-year projects as what they are here. And
you can't even say that COVID is really an excuse.
No. Dude, we had a different president.
That was too early. Even with the 2 years, that's still
we
a
had
little
two
too
different
early.
presidents.
I mean, my God, you look at, like I said, that's New York City, and that's what they're trying to do so much there, is they're trying to push towards mass transit. So for those of us who basically would have a 9/10 of a mile walk at 3 in the morning ourselves sometimes,
they push to overpopulate that city, and that's what drives me insane. I hate to say it, COVID was one of the best things that happened in New York City. There was no one there. I could go in, I could go out. It would only take me 5 minutes to get from my job and back out of the city.
It looked like I Am Legend.
Yes. Yeah, dude. I think you showed pictures of that.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I loved it. I loved the empty New York City. But now all these pushes to like bring people back. The mayor's saying like, you better bring your workers back to New York City. It's like, well, you make your city safe again and the transport a little better. Then maybe we'll come back to New York City.
Yeah, perhaps we should basically regale our stories of actually what we've seen on subways in New York.
I don't go on subways anymore. It's
I haven't been on a subway in a while.
Well, okay, I'll say, how about this? The over-under on how many times you've seen someone, male, female, or any kind of other gender, enjoying their own company is a nice way of saying it. I'm at 4.
I try not to look.
Yeah, that's just no. Yeah, that's just well. See,
looking
a lot of
back,
times,
maybe 1 or 2 times. Thinking of something in a funny position, maybe. Now, yeah. Well, again, I'm not really trying to
they're enjoying themselves too.
Gaze and see what people are doing.
A lot of times they're very vocal about it.
I remember going to one place right near Rockefeller Center. You know where the Five Guys is over there? There used to be like a little bodega where you could go upstairs and eat. So got my burger, went upstairs, ended up getting spoken to by some homeless man with a giant boombox going, "You making that money?" It's like, yes, I am.
Working hard.
Good. I'm going to go piss in that garbage can now. You do that.
Now, let me ask you this. I saw something the other day when I was coming up the FDR and then GW lower level. Now, at this point, the traffic is bad enough. I want to get your opinions on this, if the person was right or wrong. When you come up on there, there's now typically two homeless people that are soliciting money on the FDR. Somebody actually at one point, Pennsylvania plates, slowed down, rolled down their window, and gave money to the first person. Stopped back traffic, but gave money. Then going up to the next person, which was about 150 maybe feet away. They rolled down the window, gave them money, and then started to have a conversation with them. This was probably around 4:30 in the afternoon, I'm guessing. Do you like the fact they gave money, or you think that they shouldn't have?
I hate the fact that they held up traffic by stopping their car and had a conversation.
Yeah, I hate to be that guy also, but like New York, it's the traffic, man. Like I get it. I get the empathy, but the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like in 5 years of working inside New York City, my empathy has gone down. I went from like, sure, let me help you, sir. Here's $5 to actually more than that. I only want to say I used to feel bad for people. I give them a good amount of money. Now it's like, I know you're working me. Because I will give you something where you don't need to stand here anymore. And you're going to stand here and act just as like, I need this money as you were 5 seconds ago. You've already forgotten about me. I've moved on. You're looking for the next person to get money off of. It's a business for some people. Not saying, I know there are some people who are legitimately need the help, but there's way too many people there who are doing it.
Yeah, we're not saying homelessness
because they can.
is a scam.
Yeah,
that's not what we're saying.
So some of them
no, but some of it
they're gaming the homeless system, if you will.
Yes, it's like if I give money to anyone now, it's usually to programs to help people. I don't give it to anyone directly on the streets.
Well, I remember one time I gave money to some lady and she thanked me by throwing up orange juice at me at a McDonald's. This was like 2:00 in the morning, and eventually the
pulp
cops
or no pulp.
What's that?
Pulp or no pulp?
I don't know. I got to think about that, but
it matters.
You know what? Basically, it's like, I didn't want any pulp in this. Fuck you all.
It matters.
But it was 2:30 in the morning. I was waiting for a train, and that's that whole issue. And yeah, she threw it at me, and eventually the cops had to get involved and like escort her out. And I don't think they arrested her or anything, but just kind of just like,
no,
man, we have to leave
cops don't do that much anymore. If they do, they get in big trouble for it.
And it's not even worth the paperwork.
From what I gotta check and see if this is true. I heard this from someone, and I hate like putting it out onto a show like this as fact. But someone said to me that if someone tries to rob you with a weapon, it's only considered a misdemeanor now. It's not considered a felony until they use said weapon.
That was the law, but apparently there's been enough backlash or backlash on it that they explained that it was apparently some confusion in the verbiage and the legalese. So I suspect that was a legal way of saying we screwed up and but you guys are pissed we're taking it back. But no, there was a lot of backlash on that because, yeah, you could literally pull a gun on somebody, rob them, but not pull that trigger, and it would only be a misdemeanor, not even a felony.
No.
And
so it's this double-edged message that they're giving out saying, oh yeah, we're gonna be a little more lenient on crime here because we don't want to put people unnecessarily in jail. But at the same time, we want more people to come back in the city, the ones with the money.
The best way
so they can get robbed and not gone to jail, so they can just vicious cycle.
There's a reason why I refer to the United States as the Earth's reality show, because a lot of the articles that you can find out about what's going on around here come from basically foreign news outlets, news.com.au, Guardian, Daily Mail UK, any of the English speaking ones around the world. They're pretty unfiltered about what's happening over here, and there's no political tie. They're just like, okay, these guys are screwing this up, and this is how.
Those crazy Americans, what are they up to this week?
News.com
it's a completely third-person point of view, unbiased. I mean, it's straight up.
And it's kind of funny in a morbidly bizarre, pathetic, sort of sad way that this is what it is here. And, like I said, we're theorizing we're going to pop up to Europe next year or this year. I do miss it. I do miss the energy. I do miss the kindness. I do miss the fact that people walk around in the streets without a cell phone in their hand. That's a nice twist.
I don't want to leave America, but I just want to go someplace more quiet in the country. Like I've lived in Jersey my whole life, and I'm a bit of an introvert, so it's like living in one of the busiest places in our entire country where you can't go anywhere without being surrounded by 20 people, especially in a time where people are saying stay 6 feet apart. I would really love some space these days.
Well, let me put it this way. Since you were in Manhattan today, Manhattan averages 70,000 people per square mile. So to give some idea to that, if you go to the city of Memphis, we were talking about Memphis before with the International Blues Competition. The city of Memphis is the second largest city in Tennessee, and they have 2,000 people per square mile. 70,000, 2,000. Even where I am here in Lodi in suburban New Jersey is 10,000 people. I have five times the amount that Memphis has.
Blocks.
My city has 100,000 people in it.
Yeah.
My city has a population of 100,000 people. Middle of New Jersey.
Because in this case, obviously, you got the train station, I think, right there too. So it's an easy jaunt over. My tiny little hometown in Jersey, which basically we used to have problems with bears showing up, has 4,000 or 5,000 people per square mile now. And a lot of them are New Yorkers coming across because they can't afford Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx anymore. So they come over to New Jersey where the apartment rental is lower, but they have an easy commute back into Manhattan.
Yeah, any place within an hour commute of New York City is guaranteed to almost be either very expensive, very crowded, or maybe both.
This tiny little town,
and more likely both.
My graduating class had 102 people in it, just to give some idea of how the size of the school we were at. They have studio apartments now that are going for $1,900 a month in that town, and I'm just like, damn. That's a studio.
My graduating class was like 1,800 kids.
Yeah.
I'm in Rockland County, which is about 25 miles north of New York City, and it's a very populated county.
Although New York is
I'd have to look it up, but it's probably around kind of 100,000 ish as well.
I always like to look at stuff like that, but it's funny. You talk to New Yorkers, they will refer to Rockland County as upstate New York.
Not in here. Nope.
Go with this, please.
No, okay. So for a lot of other people, again, once you come out of the city up north, that is upstate New York.
In their mind,
for us, for people that live in New York City or in the counties, Rockland County, Orange County, Westchester County, when upstate New York is once you hit like an hour to 2 hours north. So once you hit anywhere from like New Paltz to Albany, anywhere up through, Buffalo, Plattsburgh, all the way to the border. All of that is upstate and Western New York.
Yeah,
like the 25 to 50 miles is still kind of like Southern New York.
I hate to say it
we get very defensive about that.
As a New Jerseyan, I think in my mindset, it's like, and you look, New York is a giant state, is 2 or 3 times the size of New Jersey. But you take that giant chunk of it, and then that little piece over here, most of us look at that little piece as New York, and the rest of it's upstate New York.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, something came out recently. One of the people that works at CBS 880 and 1010 Wins posted an article that New Jersey is the most stressed out state in the country, and New York State is now 5th. Now that's New York State as a whole, not just New York City. There's no way possible you could have New York City, be that low, but that also includes in there like Rome, New York, Buffalo, or these soft little, Beacon, Hannibal, New York. Dated a girl from Hannibal, New York years ago, and that's
I mean, it's not really stressful when you live on apple farms and stuff.
Yeah.
How stressful can life be?
I've talked to people who live like within walking distance of the border, and it's like, I chill out at home, and then I walk over to Canada in the morning and get some coffee.
Phil, Bob, how you doing? Yeah, well, see, that's the funny thing about it. The problem with up there is that its snow is brutal. I dated a girl that used to live on Lake Ontario, like right around like Oswego, New York, and right next to that, and they used to get 6-foot tall snow drifts. And you sometimes can't leave your house for days. You just have to fend off of whatever you got in the house. And she's like, as soon as she was old enough, she's like, I'm getting out of here. And she moved down to Nanuet, New York. So, but that kind of stuff, the amount of snow that you get up there. No, just no.
No, I can't even deal with the snow here in Rockland, let alone 6, 7, 8 hours north of here.
Dude, yeah.
I would rather be dead.
How much snow did you guys get in that snowstorm a few weeks ago?
Nothing crazy, nothing more than a foot and a half. I would say this winter was light, and it happened. I would say later in the year. I don't think we didn't get snow till after the new year.
Yeah,
I think this was the latest into a winter season that we got snow, and it wasn't much at all. But the year or two before that, we got a lot.
Well, last year around January, we got 26 inches.
It was brutal.
I remember that. That sucked because on my street, and JT, you know this, it's a small one-way street. So if anybody parks on the street, the plows are screwed. So they'll basically plow in pretty much my driveway, which means I got to dig all that crap out of there, and it takes hours upon hours to do it. And I don't like snow to begin with. So anyway, go ahead, JT.
Well, yeah, I was about to say you kind of live like near a pizzeria, which your driveway is sort of the back alley of that pizzeria. I wonder if most people are like, "Oh, we'll just stick the snow right in this back alley over here."
Dude, people park in my driveway now. I literally have a sign saying it's for this address only, and people were like, "It's not for the pizza place."
Dude, no, don't worry. I'm just getting pizza. I'll be back in 15 minutes.
Dude, they park across my driveway. I have a rule now. If they park across my driveway, if I can get into the driveway without hopping a curb, I don't call the cops. If I have to hop a curb, the cops get called. That's my rule now. Because of the fact that they park overnight and just leave it. And because it's such a small street, like I said, it's really, really kind of a pain in the ass to get in. And it's pissing me off big time because I love the house. Really starting to dislike the neighborhood.
Plus, based on the pictures that I've seen you post, like the turn into the driveway is a tight turn.
It is. You can work around it, and you can kind of like slide when you come out. You can slide across, alongside that pizza place too. I can finagle that. But my issue is the fact that, like I said, the neighborhood between the pizza place, which is opened up until 4:00 in the morning, and also a convenience store that sells bong-related merchandise at all days and nights. A lot of times what they'll do is they will buy over there, order the pizza, and just stay in the parking lot. And sometimes across my driveway at 2:00 in the morning when I'm trying to come home from Queens. I'm tired and cranky.
Playing some music that makes them see colors.
There's
Hear
certain
colors.
music that, yeah. So how about those Mets?
I bet it's good old rock and roll music, huh?
It's wholesome. It's just Pat Boone, early Bee Gees kind of stuff. Yeah,
B-52s. Yep.
B-52. Oh yeah, B-52. Little Rock Lobster.
They were on that list too. Midway.
B-52s were really.
Yeah,
they have.
Yeah. Yep.
Really? 8675309 and
It's absurd.
Or no? Did they do 867? No, they didn't. They did Rock Lobster. We can be together.
I'm not familiar on my B-52's catalog.
Anyway, yeah, but that surprised me a little bit too that they're not on there. So,
Plus was cathartic. I actually got a lot of the stress off that I've had today.
Good.
I feel fantastic. Oh my god! Like my limbs are loose. My mind is calm. This was really peaceful.
I can start charging for therapy if you want. Checks can be made out to Scotcher.
I hate to say this, and I shouldn't admit to this, but I'm not going to say what my job is, but it's very, very stressful at times. Mm-hmm. And at my old job, which used to have nice plaster walls, if I got upset, I would punch the plaster walls. Mm-hmm. I now work someplace where most of the walls are made out of glass. Ooh. I can't. If I'm angry, I have to find a private place and have a box and punch it very hard.
And in this case, getting out of 4 hours later.
No, I'm gonna give you credit because like I would do the same thing in I'm again not gonna say what my job is, but yeah, certain materials I take stress out as opposed to others, and it's not too stressful, but sometimes it really. And look, everybody's job is, and it's not even a competition of more stressful or not. It's just everybody, especially now. Yeah. Everybody's got their shit.
I think
there's nothing wrong with taking some frustration out.
I mean, I can't speak for everyone's jobs, but for my understanding, by the way, I have a fork because I planned on eating for some reason, and then just changed my mind.
What's bigger in the watch party? I don't care.
But I feel like most people these days, depending on what their jobs are, a lot of companies just kind of look at jobs and go, that one person can do that person's job, that person's job, that person's job. Fire those 3 people, give all the work to them, and say, we're going to give you a promotion. And that promotion is only worth like a fraction of what they paid those 3 other people.
But taking on all the workload.
Yes.
What's funny
But you're
about
promoted. We'll give you a title with it. You're the assistant to the general manager now.
This is a
the
good
regional
thing.
manager. Well, here's the thing. In the U.S., the average person has a job for now 5 to 7 years. And it might even be a little less than that. That was what I knew as of years ago. So it's a chicken causing an egg kind of a thing, where on one hand, they have the added responsibility, but then on the other hand, the employees are like, well, I'm not going to have any loyalty. And they start job changing. So as a result, I think employees become more expendable and replaceable, knowing that someone else will take the position, which furthers decreases the value and the loyalty on both sides of the fence, I think, too. I remember when I was working in corporate, and the kind of, it's the same kind of stress you're dealing with. Now, in my case, my stress became food. My cholesterol exploded because I'm a stress eater by nature.
In February of 2020, I was 270, which is heavy, but that was my weight then. Is February 2022. I weigh 330 pounds right now.
Holy shit. Wow. Okay.
I gained 60 pounds in 2 years from the stress I deal with.
Yeah, I know. And that's stress on multiple levels too.
But
and
not looking for a pity party for me, but agreeing with you. Like some people's they rely on food.
Yeah. And that's like I said, the cholesterol went up, the weight was higher than it ever been. So I understand that. And
this stressful day was brought to you by Wingstop. When you have a stressful day, heartburn is all you need.
Exactly. Add to the stress a little more stress.
Wingstop is great.
I can't get into wings. I can't get into wings. I can't get into, No, here's the thing.
It's
I don't
chicken.
Here's the thing. Fried chicken, does not sit well with me. It just doesn't. Grilled chicken I can handle. Fried chicken, no. It's weird. It goes in one way and right out the other about 10 minutes later.
I mean, I think
by the way, enjoy
wings, but you get grilled chicken wings.
We had that visual image.
Yes, I will have to put them.
Sorry, Brandon.
I remember Devani was on with us yesterday, and before the show, he was eating his. But you're one of the first people I've heard to say that they don't like buffalo wings or fried chicken in general.
Yeah, it's quite surprising.
Buffalo I can't handle. That's a little too tough on the system there. But yes, fried chicken. No, it's weird. I can't. It just doesn't sit right. You know how certain foods, no matter what you do, they just don't react well with you?
For me, it's egg salad.
Okay.
I love mayo, love hard-boiled eggs, but fuse them together, I'm going to pass out.
I'm not good with spicy food, too. I'll go someplace and they'll say, oh, you should try the spicy blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that sounds absolutely delicious. But I will be running to your bathroom within 10 minutes after eating that. So it's not a good idea.
Buffalo chicken, but no.
Let me ask you this. Ham. I don't like ham. Is that weird?
Yeah, everybody's got their quirks. I mean, it's not probably a common dislike, but I mean, to each their own. My question.
My girlfriend hates ham.
Really?
I love it.
What about Taylor ham or bacon?
I like other pork products. I don't like ham. I'll eat bacon. I'll eat sausage. I love pork roll. No ham.
What's pork roll? Is that like Taylor ham?
Wait, you're North Jersey. You shouldn't be. You should be fighting for pork roll.
No, it's Taylor ham up here.
Really? I thought it was South Jersey that fought for.
South Jersey is pork roll. Up here in North Jersey, it's Taylor ham.
Yeah, it's Taylor ham up here.
I saw a truck the other day. It was in
New York.
It was a pork roll company called Cases, and I actually took a picture of it before I got on Route 80.
I think I've had them.
Yeah, well, see, Taylor ham has always been the name. It's like I didn't know there were other brands of Taylor ham.
And you know what? Maybe that's why I always stuck with pork roll, because I never ate just Taylor ham pork roll. I had a few different brands of it.
I don't know. Do you do a browser search or do you do a Google search? Just when the object becomes a verb or just a phrase by itself.
I hurt myself. I need an adhesive bandage.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what. Well, see, that's what you end up doing when you're on a TV show and you can't actually name the product. Do you have an adhesive?
They gotta make up. They gotta make up names for contractual reasons.
Well, if it's anime, they do all that all the time. So instead of Band-Aid, it'd be like Clan-Aid.
Wait, let me pull out my Fatbull computer.
Yeah, exactly. So, although on the other side of it, they'll do that blatant product placement. I mean, we saw on Peacemaker last night, they were clearly brought to you by Asus, the laptop company. You know,
I haven't watched yet.
You're fine. No, you're 1,000% fine. In this case, I'm not going to give you any spoilers on it. It was just
the biggest spoiler we're giving you is the fact that on a laptop, the Acer brand name showed up.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, son of a bitch! If it wasn't going to be Dell, I was going to turn that shit off, man.
Dude, you know what? Sorry, man, we blew it for you. But
what,
if you remember,
you saying bad things about HP, boy?
No, honestly, to me, they're all the same.
Well, they're not, but
not.
Well, they changed. They changed.
For me, the way I would use them personally, they're all the same. But in general, they are not, and I know a lot of people would be all defensive about that, so I'm not going to get you all worked up. So don't worry about that.
We can do a search on Ask Jeeves and find out. A web crawler is a possibility too.
Are they still around?
I looked them up the other day to see if they still existed. They still do.
I remember Excite, InfoSeek, and then this thing called Google just popped up out of nowhere.
Excite used to have online dating. I remember because it was free first dates. I never got seconds because I was kind of pathetic, but I got a lot of first dates out of it.
Free for who?
Basically anybody who used it. So it was free. Yeah.
Sorry, gentlemen.
No, it's okay.
We're too polite to be on like a stream. Like you have to interrupt each other. We're like, sorry, you go.
Yeah, it's please off.
After you.
Even before with that one guy who ultimately ended the conversation by asking me and Brandon, "Are you father and son?" He was, I mean, even then I was polite to him. I was like, what kind of music do you like? No wrong answer. I'm just kind of curious. And so like, fuck do you want, you piece of shit? I'm too polite for that.
Well, apparently rock and metal is for imbeciles and Neanderthals.
And he also referred to Eminem as gay. So I'm really curious about that person's age.
Okay. This is someone we interviewed at some point?
No, just random person in the chat that was kibitzing for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. No. We never interviewed that person. We do have interviews upcoming. We had there's a TV show called Stacked, if you guys remember from like 15 years ago. With
like 3 episodes and Pamela Anderson.
It was Pamela. She did it was a couple seasons. It was Pamela Anderson and Christopher Lloyd.
That was not a couple seasons.
No, it was. It lasted 2 years.
Really?
Pam Anderson and Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
Christopher Lloyd was in it. They worked at a bookstore.
Yeah. Hence the name Stack, because
so there was a TV show in which Christopher Lloyd and Pam Anderson worked together.
Christopher Lloyd wasn't even that big of a star on it. He was the same level as he was on Taxi. By the way, you want for 10 points, what network was that on?
Taxi?
No, Stats.
USA.
I already know.
No. Broadcast.
It was Fox. I knew that.
It's always Fox.
I knew that back then because that was during that era when Fox was trying to go like hardcore TNA. So remember Paris Hilton, basically, she got her launch from Fox. I mean, the porn film beat notwithstanding. They gave her The Simple Life. That was Fox because they canceled so many shows like Arrested Development. Family Guy was canceled because they're trying to be more hardcore and badass in that arena. So
and also it's cheaper to have reality shows.
Well, that's true too. But Seth MacFarlane ripped on that too when they got canceled. It's like, well, apparently, according to Fox, basically this episode that we're showing you right now was not good enough, was not quality because of the fact that it did not involve basically Paris Hilton's tits and ass. But it was this episode When You Wish Upon a Weinstein, because that was originally canceled by Fox that they were not going to run that episode, and eventually Cartoon Network of all things ran it. Yeah, it was considered to be too extreme from the network that basically brought you Paris Hilton.
Remember, there was a time where no one really cared about Family Guy, except one network that would air their shows at 12:30 at night.
It got new life from Cartoon Network. Yeah, I had the DVD. I had the first 3 seasons of DVDs over there too.
I can't believe Adult Swim is 21 years old now.
God. Yeah, the fact that Adult Swim is that old too. I mean, from the era of like C-Lab 2021 takes place last year.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Oh God, yeah. Well, see, that's also what I think mainstreamed anime here in the United States, because Dragon Ball was big then. They brought in like Rurouni Kenshin, they brought in Inuyasha, and they brought in a lot of the anime via
It
Adult
helped.
Swim, and people were like, "This is badass."
It helped, but it was more Toonami because they were the ones who brought in Dragon Ball Z. They actually were the ones who originally aired Yu Yu Hakusho. So, no, wait, were they?
Yu Yu Hakusho?
No, they weren't.
Mhm.
Adult Swim was, and then for some reason, it's like, hey, this show where everyone curses and there's blood and stuff. Let's put it on 5 o'clock in the afternoon where the kids can watch it.
Exactly. Well, it's edgy, dude. Listen, it brought new life to Dragon Ball. There wouldn't be new Dragon Ball or games or anything like that if it wasn't for Toonami and the US network.
Yeah, do you remember what airing like Sundays at like 9 a.m. on like Pix 11?
The original
like,
Dragon Ball
what's
and
this?
also Dragon Ball Z. Yep. They ran one season of Dragon Ball and then got rid of that in favor of Dragon Ball Z.
I never even saw Dragon Ball until like after Dragon Ball Z became popular on Cartoon Network.
Dragon Ball, gonna find that Dragon Ball. Yes, I know the song.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God.
See, I was more Dragon Ball, just into video games.
Okay.
Like the Budokai series played to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a big fighting fan, and it's funny, I never really got into that, or I got into the first Naruto, if you remember that one. It was very similar. But yeah, it's an interesting series. So you played all those?
Yeah, when I was younger on GameCube and PS2, and to date myself a little bit, yeah.
Oh God, shut the hell up.
He says to the people that were playing on NES.
Yeah.
Dude, I was playing Dragon Ball games literally 28 years ago, okay? 1994.
Oh, yeah. No, to this
Super
day,
Budokai
I
3.
still remember going to a Toys R Us. My first, I got PlayStation 1 with Spyro the Dragon being my first video game I ever played.
Nice. First video game I ever played was Missile Command, and I was 4 years old, 1979.
I was strange, which mine was actually Super Mario Brothers, the original, in 1990.
That is late to the game.
Yeah. Well, I was 5 years old in 1990, so
okay.
But that was like, hey, look, this video game is on special for sale. I shouldn't say that. But it's a classic. Cool. I still enjoyed it.
Well, I'm actually going back and playing Super Mario World for the first time in years. I forgot how enjoyable / annoying it can be.
Wait, really? That one I found Super Mario. I found one of the easier ones. Super Mario World.
World is one of those ones that you die 17 times in a row by jumping incorrectly.
Then again, I cheated. I had a Game Genie.
That'll do it. Yeah.
I never had too much trouble with that one.
Yeah. Well, it's been a while for me too. So, gone are my days of competing in Nintendo tournaments. Yes, I did that too.
You competed in Nintendo tournaments. Did you win any?
No, I did not. But the big one, that Nintendo World Championships, I did get to like the semifinals in New York. I was 12-ish years old. The one that was like Super Nintendo, it was like Mario, then Rad Racer, then Tetris. I was on stage at Jacob Javits Center when I was a kid for that.
Humble
Very
brag.
nice.
Yeah. Did not
the coolest thing I got when I was a kid, and actually it's an awful story, but I'm going to tell it anyway because we have to kill time.
For the world.
So when I was around 6th grade is when Pokemon became really popular, and then they started holding all those tournaments around the United States. So I remember having that game and being very addicted to it, and then I got my report card back, and people were not happy with me. So I had my game taken away, and I didn't have it for a few weeks. And I remember what happened was the tournament was coming in. I asked my parents, can I compete in this tournament? Yeah. All right, fine. And gave me the game back, went to go compete, looked at the line, said, yeah, we're not waiting around for you to compete. Did not get to compete in the said tournament. But I got to keep the Game Boy afterwards. So
that's cool.
There you go.
Like I said, it was going to be a lame story, but
no, it's okay. I used to get my games taken away, and I used to like swipe them back until I got busted again.
I always felt like the lamest kid in the world, though, because everyone else by the time Pokemon came out had the Game Boy Color, and I was still rocking the giant original Game Boy.
I wish I had mine, man. I really wish I still had that.
I know it's around here somewhere. It used to be.
I'm sure you probably. Yeah, people like you and people like Carlo have just like everything under the sun.
I would love to pick up one just to have.
Well, there's a place down on 46 here, Digital Press, that usually has it's a.
I've been there a handful of times. Digital Press is pretty good.
That's a museum of just like nostalgic stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is beat to death, but
it's actually where my James. Well, that is cool though.
Do I still have the games?
Case today, what is that?
One
is that
game.
A calculator?
Is that Tetris?
Yes, it's Tetris.
That's how I trained for the World Championships on my Game Boy.
I lied. I have another game. My original blue cartridge.
Yeah, I don't know what game that was.
Pokemon.
Was it Pokemon Blue? That's right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I found out like years later. It's like, no, you were supposed to get the red cartridge. Only lame kids get the blue one. So shut up. I like my blue.
I like my one. Shut up.
Yeah, no, I remember being a kid. Like it was one or the other. Like sides. Like if you picked the wrong one, other kids would be pissed, and they would not like it.
Why?
No, there's no reason. There's no reason.
It was a cool concept, though. Like, how do we force people to play with each other? Well, we're gonna release the same game, but we're gonna make it slightly different, and then to get everything, you have to come together with someone, or be really rich and buy both games.
And they still do it.
And they made bank on it,
Yeah.
Well, see, then of course you had what Pokemon Go, 5-6 years ago. I guess I don't know. Are people still doing that now?
I don't know. I never got into that one.
Didn't a story just come out where a cop got fired because he ignored a call because he was playing Pokemon Go?
I believe it.
Trying to catch a Snorlax or someone.
I've heard so many stories about people being hit by cars, walking off like a cliff. I think one person walked off a cliff because they're just trying to find we'll say a Squirtle out in the middle of nowhere. I remember right after it came out.
Why would a Squirtle be on a cliff?
To
be near the water.
Unless all right, fine. If the cliff is near water, fine.
I remember actually this I do remember. 6 years ago, my future wife to be and a bunch of her friends and actually their kids. We went out to that giant aquarium down in Camden, that monstrous aquarium, and Pokemon Go had just come out. And this one kid who was about 10 years old at this point, he did not raise his head once for every living animal in the aquarium, but spent his entire time trying to collect fake animals at the aquarium.
It reminds me of that Simpson episode where Marge yells at the kids for not doing the lawn work so they can go to a carnival to wear virtual reality machines where they do lawn work.
It was the weirdest thing. It's like, he wouldn't look at the hippos, but he'd try and collect the animals next to the hippos. And it's like, hey, look at that, a shark. Yeah, but there's a Bulbasaur over here. Now that guy has a girlfriend, and it's a whole mess of a situation because he wants to get back together with her, and she's treating him like crap.
Young love.
Indeed.
You'll learn. Or go to jail. You want to
young love. Yeah. They'll learn.
But
they'll learn.
Yeah, so I figure we can probably start wrapping this up at this point. We never even got to like Formula One or even Boba Fett, but we can always save that for another time anyway.
Bobalorian.
Bobalorian, as I was trying to coin the phrase here. But we'll be back on Monday. Obi, thanks for popping on. Whatever your name was, that got Chaddington 34, and everybody else was commenting on some stuff here today. Appreciate that. Chaddington 34, especially because you basically asked if Brandon and I are son and father. So cool. And once more, I want to reiterate, he is not my father. So
nope.
But we will be
don't
back
deny him like that.
What's that?
Don't deny him like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But we'll be back on Monday.
Did the test. It's been confirmed.
Coming up this week, next week, we've got Grinds My Gears on Monday at 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. on Tuesday, we have Tales from the Film Set. Thursday, tentatively scheduled, we have Brian Scalero, who was one of the cast members from Stacked and a bunch of other shows. You can find him. He'll be on in the morning. Thursday afternoon, we're probably going to do some kind of a thing. I'm not even sure what. Brandon, you said Thursday night you want to cover a live stream on Nets Celtics, I think.
Yes, Nets Celtics to start this second half of the NBA season.
Nice. And then I was going to say we'll do Grind My Gears again next Friday. And then next Saturday, I start MLS because the new season's going to start. I'm probably going to be doing the Minnesota-Philadelphia Union game, but I'll see what happens there. But I've been thinking about it, and I really, really, really want to do MLS soccer. For some reason, it just hits me, and I'm like, I really want to do this, So, anyway, that's the schedule for now.
Sports Den Tuesday?
And yeah, Sports Den on Tuesday at 4 p.m. too, but that will not
Tales
be
from the film set?
What's that?
Tales from the Film Set?
I mentioned that one already, 7 p.m.
I did.
I don't know what we're going to do.
Gotta get all the plugins covered.
What's that?
Gotta plug them all.
Covered.
Plug them on.
Gotta plug them all. Plug them all. But yeah, so like I said, we got a full tilt ahead of us right now. You can always find it on streampunkent.com if you want more information, or find it always on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on Tales from the Film Set, or Streampunk Sports, Streampunk Entertainment. That was a long way. None of you guys will listen to that. I probably confused the two of you guys. I apologize. But anyway, I'll shut up now. Any final thoughts?
I'm going to eat my chicken.
Go for it. Brandon?
Yeah, I'm going to go hit some dinner, lay down, got work in the morning. But it was great to be on this first non-sports show in the Streampunk family. So
yes,
it's good to join you guys.
Yeah, glad to have you. Like I said, trying to blend the worlds of Tales and Streampunk into one here. So
one cohesive family.
Exactly. One very, very dysfunctional, and putting the fun and dysfunctional in the family. So,
and thank you for letting me join late to the conversation, gentlemen.
100% fine, as long as basically you found it therapeutic to deal with the traffic. So cool. Until next time, thank you guys as always. Be awesome.